as well. Let's leave that at 1:15:05. So there's that. Sorry, folks. Just have to. I care about you lot that are on watching this on a replay. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Gabriel interview reaction. So yeah, bringing that back on the screen. Keen to see what Gabriel has to say. I haven't seen too much talking from him. Um, let's see what he said. Scrolling all the way down, but beyond this jargon, folks. I mean, we know he had a COVID diagnosis, and he kind of was in and out the team in the second half of the campaign. Scrolling all the way down, he said it was a year of learning, says Gabriel. Of course, the team had a bad run, but I started well, and overall, I think it was a good year for me. I learned a lot of things, and I'm a more mature player this year. I know the league better as well. Facts. He also talked about communication. He said, I think more than anything on the pitch, the language was the biggest difficulty for me in terms of adapting. Now, football is a universal language, but it does help if everyone can understand each other via a common tongue. It makes processes easier, really and truly. You know, while it's good to be bilingual and things like that, you need to be able to speak multiple language. You need to be able to speak one common tongue in it so everybody can hear. Because in that split second, you're trying to consider what someone says, there could be issues, people, especially in a back five unit. He said there are a lot of players here who speak French, Portuguese, and Spanish, but in this country you have to speak English, and that was tough for me. And I think in general, I mean, we got to remember this is a job for Gabriel. And I know I was very surprised with the level of English Tomiyasu could speak, but I do think people that have the luxury of speaking English as a native tongue, I think people really underestimate how much I do believe learning English helps people, become economic migrants and, obviously move countries and things. It is a life skill that I think people don't realize to a degree, sadly, is a luxury. There's a bit of colonial history problems with that. I mean, there's no surprise. You see a lot of African nations speaking Spanish and French or Portuguese. These are not the mother tongues. These are all as a result of slavery. But here we are, people. There are a lot of players who speak French, Portuguese, and Spanish. But in this country, you have to speak English. And that was tough for me. My English still isn't perfect, but it's definitely a lot better than it was, and that's helping me a lot. Gabriel, we applaud you for trying, bro. You can't mock a brother who can struggle with English if he speaks multiple languages. We know Gabriel's is still at the elementary stage in football, and we know he's had a tough time in his whole life. He said, was it difficult to imagine reaching the level he's at now? Absolutely. I would say I've matured a lot during those years because many things happened in my life in a short period of time. It was a period when I learned a lot, and it made a big difference in terms of helping me become the player I am now. When I'm on the pitch, I now think back to those difficult times and use them to help me. In life, if we don't go through adversity, we'll be in issues. What's more difficult than reaching the top level is staying there, and that's something I am aware of too. Every day I work to improve and maintain my physical and technical attributes, and that's it. You've got a target on your back. Your number, you're a starting centre half for Arsenal Football Club. Just like Saka is number 7 and Smith Rowe's number 10. When you get to the top, the only way is down. And the same rope you climb up on, as I used to say all the time, is the same rope that they'll try hang you with. So it is what it is. He's bigged up David Luiz and expressed gratitude to Pablo Mari. Which is cool. He said he's on David Luiz. I believe he said he's a top guy who always helps his team. I think this is Arteta. He is a top guy who is always helping out his players and his staff. He supports us during tough times, and I'm very happy to be coached by him. Without a doubt, I am learning a lot from him. He helps us a lot on the pitch in terms of deciding how we set up and the systems we use. He guides us forward, but he also asks us questions about what we think might be best for the team. So he's not quite the dictator some man make out. The communication in general between the players and manager is very good. We want to do well for him because that's exactly what he deserves. We see that he enjoys what he does, and we want to achieve great things together. Thanks to God, we have managed to win 3 games together and keep 2 clean sheets. It's only the beginning, but I think we have the makings of a very good partnership in terms of our attributes. And obviously together, they obviously form the youngest first-choice centre-half pairing in the Premier League. The manager wants his defenders to defend well, first and foremost. He wants us to know the moments to attack and the moments to defend. That's what we are trying to do. And we know now when to drop deep and when to push up. Having good timing on the pitch is essential, and he talks to us about that a lot. He also tells us how every game is different here because we're up against players with different attributes. That's also true. Ben and I each had a full season in the Premier League now, and that's another thing. They're young men anyways, and they've only played a season in the Premier piece, and this is their second year. and their first year together, obviously. And we're getting to know we're getting to know it much better. We still need to connect even more, but we are improving and developing with every game, and that bodes well for the rest of the season. We want to be we want to be a very intense and aggressive defense. So do we. So do we. We want you to be that as fans, people. Arsenal's aggressive defending in terms of duels won per game. So far, we've actually won 46.5, which is an upgrade. We've won more balls in the air with 16. We're tackling more. We're blocking more. We've made more of a clearance. Now, a part of that could probably be because of the tough games we've had at the start. You know, we've been on the back foot against Brentford. We was on the back foot against City and Chelsea. So maybe of that screws results. And it was quite one-sided against Burnley and Norwich. So beyond the obvious, I think those have kind of played a part within what's gone on. But there has been a bit of improvements, really. And long may it continue. He spoke about Tomiyasu and Ramsdale. He said he's a very good goalkeeper. He's another new guy who is very young and has a bright future ahead of him. He helps us a lot. He's a good communicator on the pitch, and his distribution is also very good. Something that certain keepers don't do. Leno, fuck off. Anyways, so he's right, man. I mean, we like the back five, and I like to see how they were liking to enjoy. He said it's important to have that battling spirit, that desire to win when you're out on the pitch. We want to win every game, but also every ball and every duel. And I like that. But same time, real maturity is realizing you can lose a battle but win in the war. And I'm not saying he's not saying that, but you don't have to win every ball. And that's something young defenders do. Sometimes you have to let a man go past you and just guide them into a situation. You have to talk and whatnot. And I know they know that, but I'm just making it stated. He said, we saw the way the fans reacted to every important tackle and every good pass on Sunday, not just the goals. We need to have that passion throughout every game. Every time the ball is there to be won, having that support from the fans pushes us forward. It is just another reason for optimism at Arsenal right now. And Gabriel agrees. So Gabriel went on to say, I think we're going to have a much better season. He adds, white teeth gleaming again. I mean, he's got a fantastic pair of set of teeth. He said, I really believe we can achieve a lot more this time round. I mean, Gabriel, I love you, but I mean, only time will tell, innit? Only time will tell. We've had 3 terrible games. We've had 3 quote unquote good games. So time will tell. If you want to have a season to remember, you will. If you don't, it'll be more of the same. It's as simple as that. But it was nice to just read that with you lot, people. So yeah, it is what it is. What else are you lot saying? Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. We're at 170 likes, still not quite at 200. Please make sure you're subscribed on Twitch as well. 10 past 2, I'm going again with Harry, where we'll be previewing the game, and I ain't spoke with him for a while, so it'd be nice to pick his brains of what he's thought about Arsenal so far this season. We should cash in on both Lacazette and Eddie as their contracts are running out. True. Come on, shout Gabriel for that one. Brentford would get the best out of Eddie. Eddie plus money for Tony in January. I mean, that's living a movie. They're not going to let Tony go halfway through their first season. And I know Ivan Toney's hardly proven he's a Premier League striker. I know, the general play, the movement. But for me, if you want to be a Premier League striker, you need to score 20 league goals in the league minimum. You can be a good striker, one for the squad, but you ain't done that. Tony is clear of Eddie Nketiah, though. For me, especially if Brentford are trying to stay in this league, you don't let Ivan, who is quote unquote a proven talent. I know he's learning the tricks and trades in the Prem, but he started off well. He's helped them along the playoffs. Eddie ain't done nothing. He went to Leeds. It didn't bang. It would be suicidal for them to do that, really and truly. So I think we're dream chasing a bit. And to be fair to you, Eddie plus money for Tony. How much money are we talking? Because the money, I like Tony, but at this moment in time, I don't think he's probably worth what they're trying to seek for him, really. I would rather sell Lacazette, but it's easier said than done. And as we saw with Eddie, we accepted an offer for Eddie in the summer. He has to agree to the move in terms of personal terms. And Lacazette, obviously being 29, needing to think a bit more than Eddie, who is 22. I'm not sure, man. Come on. Why didn't we sign Matt Ryan on a perm? To be fair to you, we heard that we needed to sign a homegrown keeper with Ramsdale. Now, in hindsight, I do think something's gone wrong with Leno. Maybe if Leno was leaving, we would have brought the 2 keepers in. But I think everyone's unanimously agreed, we'll revisit the Leno situation in January/end of the season. But it would have been nice because it's hard to find number twos that want to stay being number twos, and actually number twos that are good. It's crazy. Love for letting me know. Gabon, Egypt, Ghana, and Ivory Coast have qualified for AFCON. So assuming that information is right. So as I was saying earlier, assuming Aubameyang is still eligible for international football, that's Aubameyang, El Nene, Thomas Partey, and obviously Pepe gone. And why do I always feel like we're missing another African player out at Arsenal? Pepe, Partey, Aubameyang, El Nene. There's a next one. I swear there's 5. It must not be. Exactly. Yeah, bro. Shout out to Ramsdale for that, man. Needs to come. He ain't technically been capped by England. Come play for Jamaica, Ramsdale. We can make a booked passport. We can do something, man. DG, I swear, every time I see Ramsdale smile, it lets the day feel a little bit better. I mean, Ramsdale's become a fan favorite, innit? I like him a lot, man. DG, what do you think about potentially bringing Van der Beek in to the Emirates in January? I'd explore it. Can't see it happening though. Would you take Tammy DG? I don't remember your opinion on him. I would, but at the time I said no because Tammy's doing well at Roma. But I think when you scrutinize his gameplay, he needs a lot of work. And it's not that I wouldn't take him. I don't think he's good. It's like if we're going to sign a striker, for me, whether Arsenal can do it or not, I would rather someone ready-made because for me, we've already got projects, man. We don't, and I'm not saying he's better or worse, but we've got a project with Balogun. We've got a project with Martinelli. Obviously, Tammy's way more ahead, and we've got all these other projects. And I haven't necessarily seen them come to light. So we're going to work with Tammy. Tammy scores goals, but he is very reactive as a striker. For a big man, his heading and his hold-up play is atrocious. So there's a lot to work upon. He's a good player, but yeah, man, for the money, I weren't really with it. Are you counting Basuma? Probably. Brown Eagles tired, but could try that, man. As always, appreciate your perspectives, DG, balanced with the willingness to look at things from multiple angles. I appreciate that, my dude. Both Laka and Eddie need to go, in my opinion. It's time to throw Martinelli and Balogun into the deep end to show if they can do it while Aubameyang is first choice. I hear you. But I can't lie, I'm not really convinced if it's just Aubameyang, Balogun, Martinelli as our strikers. I would prefer for Laka to just leave on a free and then give a one of Martinelli or Balogun chances. I think one of them's got to go out on loan. Because as much as I want all these young players to get opportunities, we need stability, man. There's too much dead wood leaving for free or can't sell due to wage demands. It will take time to get to where Arsenal want to be, but the kids need to grow and play together to get there. Let them play. Amen. Well, I hope we don't bring in Neto. It don't make sense, man. I don't really rate him too much in terms of a goalie. He's all right, and I don't think he sits on the bench. But just in terms of homegrown, that Green guy at St. Etienne, I know he got sent off recently, and it was a bit of a clanger, but, he's someone I'm looking at. He's also young as well. We've only got 180 likes. Would you love to see Neil Lang at the Emirates? I wouldn't say love, but if he joins, why not? Why not, really? I wouldn't say love, though. Like, I would love Kareem Adeyemi. I would love Hosemawa, Gimares and that. I love a centre mid full stop. But I can't say anything else where I'd love, if that makes sense. Yeah, Yum Yums is better than Brown Eagle. I'll give it that. Let's hold on. It's only 3 wins. I'll be easier on Arteta if we get a 5-win streak in the league. I'll be easier on Arteta in that in January I can know what Arsenal's about, whether we've won, lost, or drawn. I've seen a base level of performance because we are going to lose games. It just feels like there's some Arsenal fans that are hella positive right now. The minute they lose, we're back to square one. Saliba did get a clean sheet in the 0-0 draw, and obviously I'll catch that one on the rebound for my next loan report. Check out the loan report if you haven't done that. Yum Yum. If you're talking about Yum Yum in Enfield, then it's Caribbean. Not that I should be giving anyone free promo. If you're talking, I don't know about no other Yum Yum. I assume you're talking about that. It's all right still. Is there any other Arsenal stuff? Can't really see anything affecting Arsenal at this moment. Man said Ospina, tired. And I'm still talking about Max Aarons. I think we got to let that one go, bro. But same way, similar to how we brought in Tavares, we probably need to look at a backup right back. Maybe that's one for the summer because on paper, you've technically got, and I'm not saying I agree with it. I don't mind Maitland-Niles playing there, but I don't know what we're doing with Maitland. He seems like he has this cool hybrid role at the moment. You've got him, you've got Cedric, you've got Chambers, you've got a couple man that can play there. Speaking of Neto from Wolves would be an excellent signing that no one is actively pursuing right now. That's because he's injured. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I swear he got injured, and it was quite unfortunate. Absolute player. Weren't Liverpool on him? Saliba had a good performance yesterday, and he bounced back because he was terrible against Lens. Can't lie, he's terrible. At least at fault for 2 of those goals. Man said Fabianski. Arsenal have had a fetish for shit goalies for a minute. It's crazy. Flirting with 200 likes, people. Cool. We'll leave it at that then. All right, YouTube. I mean, there's alerts. Basuma probably is, man. Somehow he's gonna be fully fit. I know they're lying and saying there's fitness doubts and all these things. All of a sudden, that man is gonna be fit when it comes to playing against us. It's gonna be long, man. I mean, for me, I would just prefer Maitland-Niles. If Ainsley Maitland-Niles can be a competent right back as well as a midfielder, then we've got it. But we probably need to address that area. I mean, I'm not really a fan of Chambers there. I'm not going to lie. I think in Chambers' his last appearance, if I remember off the top of my head, against Brentford, I think that was his first terrible game at right back in a while. But at best, he's a centre half playing at right back, really. You can get away with it in a low block, but I just feel when you're up against quality, then you see what you get what you pay for. Cedric, it's just not levels. It shouldn't have been brought into the club. You get what you pay for. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, listen, I don't know what we're doing with him. Only time will tell. I hope come the end of the season, he either looks like a centre mid that's able to play at right back, or he's a right back that can fill in and do a job at centre mid, rather than we don't know what he is right now. I'm glad Guendouzi isn't coming back. Can't lie. I think he's tired. Guendouzi haters, man. The man's a baller, absolute baller. I know there's an obligation to buy, but when you see the rumors that Marseille are having second guesses and concerns, I have small hope that he'll be brought back, man. But he's got a year left on his deal, man. So hopefully something is patterned in that regards. Pardon me, trying to see if there's anything else Arsenal related. Why do you lot keep putting Arsenal's ex shit goalies in the thing? Gosh, I think there's a bit of a propaganda piece here, people. Should we read this? What's going on there? Running your mouth after VAR proved you wrong. Little man needs to relax before I snatch that wig off your head. Van Aanholt never said that, man. But it's funny. But yeah, looking at this quick, people. No. I don't want none of this, man. Bad man don't do the cookie thing. But anyways, Tomiyasu has a mentality like Ronaldo. Let's see what's going on there. That's definitely an eye-catching one. Sandro, I've seen you. You can Guendouzi flatters to deceive. I can't lie. You've rated some tired man. So what? He really said that? Well, I was about to say something mad. What? Well, now, what was just chatting on the tweets? You're doing what the Yatties do. Stop tweeting and come get active in the fields, man. You didn't do nothing. I'm sure you bucked Guendouzi then. Shut up, Van Aanholt, man. You ain't on piss, man. You dickhead. You snatch that wig. VAR, you might be right with the VAR thing, but you ain't on nothing. What's all of that? A footballer, man. You're picking on guys like Guendouzi. Come and chat to the real thugs. But anyways, forget all of that. Van Aanholt, you're just salty. Bro, Guendouzi's my guy. How much money does Guendouzi get paid? Allow it, man. You probably whoring yourself out to join us on the free. Shut up, Van Aanholt, man. But anyways, from a fullback who is shit and a fullback to a fullback who's actually good. Let's speak about Tomiyasu. He's been compared in terms of mentality to Ronaldo. People, we know no one's dribbled past Tomiyasu. That don't really make sense for me because he could have done better for the goal we conceded against Spurs. But apparently, Pinto, who is the sporting director, at the first club he was at when he was at Europe, when he came into Europe, Sint-Truiden, which is in Belgium. He said, "What is amazing about Tommy is that he doesn't accept anything that isn't success." I mean, you've got to, and I can't lie, that's something that when I look at Japanese culture and a lot of neighboring Asian cultures, you get that vibe from them. When they do something, there's seriousness. You know, you look at Son, who's Korean, you get the same vibe. Man are serious about what they're doing. Anything less than excellence, you know, and they're very humble. They don't feel like they've achieved anything. Like even when you hear the way Son's dad speaks. So that's one thing I was keen to see when I saw him come in. And like a lot of Asian players, they're very competent of what their job is. They might not be the most flashiest and doing a madness at right back, but you can tell he likes his job. You can tell he's got a dedication to, if I need to improve 1v1 or I need to improve this, he doesn't just do the bare minimum. You can tell this is someone that is serious, not just about football, but life. Like this is a man that I know nothing about, this 22-year-old. But he moves like he's 35 and that, and I can tell he's probably got business interests and other little things set up for when football's done. You get the vibe that he's serious with this people. So yeah, he said he's not lucky. Nothing for Tommy comes because he's lucky. He's just a hard-working player. You find a lot of dedicated players, but Tommy has a little bit of the Cristiano Ronaldo mentality in terms of determination, in terms of working hard, and in terms of eating healthy. He's a player who is never satisfied. He will always continue to work hard and keep developing himself. Tomiyasu is a player who's had his career mapped out from early. I mean, what's going on there? Right, he played against Ainsley Maitland-Niles in 2016. You know how funny how life works out. He said that game was one big reason for me why I wanted to play in the Premier League. We couldn't do anything in that game. At that moment, I thought that I have to one day get to a level where I could play in England. And I mean, Tomiyasu was 17 at the time. Crazy how life works out, man. And apparently Pinto went on to say, I worked with our CEO, Tokayuki Tatinisi, forgive me for mispronunciation. So we knew Tommy from Japan. He was 19 at the time, and what captured our attention the most was his potential. It's not every day that you have a player who is 1.8 meters and has the speed and physicality and technique. We believed so much in Tommy that when he came, he had an ankle injury and was recovering. Our doctors were saying, you can't sign this player, he's injured. So our CEO went to the board and said, you can take him, I guarantee it. This is how much confidence we had in Tomiyasu at the time, and he's obviously gone on to do good things, people. He arrived injured and played just 1 minute during his first 16 months there. So when you look at him, he's had to go for adversity. Gabriel wasn't barely, Gabriel in his short time, he was just getting into the Lyon squad when we bought him. He's had to go for adversity. A lot of these players have had to. Tommy just took over that season and had amazing games. He just exploded. We knew after the first 3 or 4 months of that season that it was going to be difficult to keep hold of him. Of course, Belgium is a very interesting market where all the scouts come to look at young players. So he was on the radar of many different clubs at the time. He said the key there was Tommy always knew what he wanted. He knew that his next step was to go to Italy to learn from the best defensive styles. He wanted to play in a country famed for players like Maldini. Fact, Tommy wanted to go there. And at the time, of all the clubs that were following him, Bologna were already a step ahead and had done their homework. They came very early for him, and it was the biggest transfer record for our club and one of the biggest transfers here in Belgium. As you lot know, he moved in 2019 for 6 million quid, 7.6 million euros, dollars, I think that is. And yeah, he went on and made a decent profit for the Belgians. He's made a decent profit for the Italians. Hopefully, he spends a good part of his career at Arsenal and does something for us beyond profit, really and truly. So yeah, big up to him. He made 29 appearances in his first season in Italy and 31 in his second. He said, in terms of Arsenal, he said, I was very excited. I mean, I've read that before. We've all read that, so I'm not going to bore you with that. But I'm impressed with Tomiyasu. I do think people are gassing a lot too much. If I'm completely honest with you, Tomiyasu interview reaction. I think people are gassing it. I think there's a lot. Sometimes I think he tries a bit hard with his passing. I think his passing can improve. I do think he can offer a bit more going forward. But from what Arteta seems to demand of him being narrow and that, I love it. And from what I see, good 1v1, good in the air, loves to develop, loves to do what he needs to do. He's a fantastic player, man. And long may it continue where he's concerned, man.